Listen up, GI. Your future is in your hands. You've got all the tools you need to succeed. There's a new deal out there, soldier, and it's up to you to take advantage of it. You've done your part. Now it's time for your country to serve you.
Hi, I'm Marie George, Chief Education Liaison Officer for the St. Louis Regional Processing Office, Department of Veterans Affairs. I want to talk to you today about the Chapter 33, the Post-9/11 GI Bill. This is a great opportunity for our active military who served after 9/11 to go to college, earn a degree, and to step into their civilian occupation debt-free. Chapter 33 will allow us to pay the tuition and fees on the behalf of the veteran. We will also send you, the veteran, your monthly housing allowance based on the rate of pursuit more than half time, your books and supplies payment, and the college fund payment in a lump sum prior to the start of the term. Historically, 70% of veterans have utilized benefits under the Department of Veterans Affairs. We want to get to 100%. You've earned it. We owe it to you. 48% of you have earned a 4-year degree. We want the rest of you utilizing Chapter 33 to come out of your 4-year degree program debt-free. VA education dollars returns at a rate of 6-to-1 to the state and local economy due to the investment in yourself. We want you to know that all benefit programs are still alive and well with the Department of Veterans Affairs. You can use Chapter 1606, Chapter 1607, and Chapter 30. Chapter 35 is still available for our family members. Chapter 33 has the Transfer of Entitlement Program, which is a program under the Department of Defense, but we will implement that once we know who is eligible to utilize that benefit. Information for all of our benefits is on our website, gibill.va.gov. If you have questions about the benefit that you want to elect, please call 888-442-4551. If you want to go back to our website, there is a question and answer where you can click on that and you'll get a response between 3 and 5 working days. On behalf of the Department of Veterans Affairs, I want to thank you for your service and your dedication to this country. I too am a veteran, and I am proud to serve you again.
Every year, America invests in our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen. And through the Montgomery GI Bill and the new Post-9/11 GI Bill, our servicemen and women can invest in themselves. As veterans improve their lives and those of their families, they reinvest this dividend of prosperity in their neighborhoods and communities and our nation at large. A high-yield dividend majored in jobs and businesses large and small, greater earnings, a broader tax base, a better informed citizenry, and an economically stronger America. As early as 1942, Congress had begun to grapple with the problem of what to do to ease the return of our men and women from the battlefields of World War II. The goal? To reduce the possibility of post-war depression brought on by the vast spreads of unemployment. During that time, a list of 643 pieces of legislation were proposed and discarded. One that finally passed unanimously nearly died in committee for the lack of a single vote. On June 22, 1944, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the original GI Bill of Rights. The GI Bill did everything its backers wanted and more, painlessly absorbing 12 million veterans into the economy, and the lasting benefits were far greater. The GI Bill created a new American society based on a huge middle class of veterans who began businesses, bought homes, started families, and paid back in taxes far more than the $14.5 million spent on the original bill. Veterans who never even dared to dream of higher education flocked to the nation's colleges and universities. What a change that was from just a few years earlier, when a college education was generally understood to consist of benefits for the wealthy. The GI Bill made it possible for the many returning veterans to attend colleges instead of immediately joining what would have become an overcrowded workforce. In all, more than half of World War II veterans were able to attend college or technical school. And after the discipline of military service in a foreign war, they excelled as students. As a result, by 1956, the U.S. had achieved 450,000 engineers, 238,000 teachers, 91,000 scientists, 67,000 doctors, 22,000 dentists, plus more than 1 million other college-trained men and women. Altogether, a return of $148 billion on the original $14.5 million investment. Other wars have come and gone, and other veterans have come home with dreams and plans and the desire to make a life for themselves. And during the mid-'80s, U.S. Congressman Sonny Montgomery of Mississippi served as chairman of the House of Veterans Affairs Committee, and also on the Armed Services Committee. His passion for an effective GI Bill, one that would truly make a difference in the lives of those who served, is legendary, which is why today, Sonny Montgomery is known as the father of the modern GI Bill, now known as the Montgomery GI Bill.
My name is Darrell Kerr. I work for the G.V. Montgomery Center for America's Veterans at Mississippi State University. Let me say a few things to you about the rich history of the Montgomery GI Bill, in that the Montgomery GI Bill was enacted into law in 1984, coming up now on its 25th anniversary. The program has served both service members and veterans and the nation arguably with distinction, because to this date, some 2.4 million service members and veterans have used the Montgomery GI Bill to pursue post-secondary education and training. The program has produced untold numbers of engineers, teachers, firefighters, police officers, businessmen and women, just about every aspect, every profession in our domestic economy. The economic impact, the cost benefit, if you will, of both the World War II GI Bill, to harken back to that successful program, which in fact made the United States the first predominantly middle-class nation in the world, and the Montgomery GI Bill, the economic impact of that program, are equally profound. In 1988, the Joint Economic Committee of the Congress conducted an analysis on the World War II GI Bill and was able to document unequivocally that there was a return of $7 for each dollar invested. $7 returned to the government and our private sector economy for each dollar invested in the World War II GI Bill. Now, with respect to the Montgomery GI Bill, in the year 2000, the Clem Analysis Group in Washington, D.C., an economic analysis and program evaluation firm, conducted a cost-benefit analysis on the Montgomery GI Bill, which, remember, was enacted into law in 1984. And their numbers came out to be $7 as well, returned to the private economy and to the government for each dollar invested in the Montgomery GI Bill. So the economic aspects of these two different GI Bills from two completely different times in our history has produced about the same level of economic investment for our economy. I think the historical significance of the post 9/11 GI Bill is that it has produced these wonderful enhancements to the ongoing Montgomery GI Bill during a time of war and mobilization for our country. America's sons and daughters who are wearing the military uniform and have worn the military uniform will be eligible for one program or the other based on what they elect relative to their post-secondary education and training needs.
Post 9/11 GI Bill eligibility criteria. Members of the active duty military, National Guard, or reserve components must have qualifying active duty service on or after September 11, 2001 to become eligible for this education entitlement. In addition, the member must have served for an aggregate period of at least 90 credible days on active duty, or served at least 30 continuous days on active duty, and received a service-connected disability discharge. Payments are based on the amount of credible aggregate active duty time the service member or veteran has accrued. The VA has a chart, which is available on its website, that allows applicants to compare their aggregate amount of military service performed with the corresponding amount of benefits payable. To demonstrate how the chart is used, let's say a veteran received an honorable discharge after serving at least 90 aggregate days, but less than 6 months of credible non-training active duty time on or after September 11, 2001. This veteran would receive benefits at 40% of the maximum amount payable, whereas a veteran that served 36 months would be eligible for 100% of the maximum benefit payable, as with someone who served 30 continuous days and was discharged with a disability. Therefore, the maximum benefit payable is determined by the claimant's amount of credible aggregate service. The one exception to the percentages is service members that use the benefit while on active duty. Members on active duty that served for 90 days will receive 100% of their tuition regardless of the cost. Eligible recipients generally receive 36 months of benefits for courses of study pursued on or after August 1, 2009. An individual is limited to 48 months of combined benefits under the various educational assistance programs the VA provides. However, anyone transferring from the Montgomery GI Bill to the post-9/11 GI Bill will be limited to the amount of remaining Montgomery GI Bill entitlement. If transferring from the Montgomery GI Bill Selective Reserve or Reserve Educational Assistance Program, or REAP, to the post-9/11 GI Bill, the 48-month rule applies. Veterans will remain eligible for benefits for 15 years from their date of last discharge or release from active duty of at least 90 continuous days. Service members are eligible to use their benefits as long as they are on active duty. Tuition and fee payments. These payments are available for veterans, service members, and dependents using Transfer of Entitlement. Transfer of Entitlement is a program in which service members can transfer part or all of their post-9/11 entitlement to their spouse or children. Transfer of Entitlement will be discussed in detail later in the program. With tuition and fee payments, the recipient school will receive a payment of tuition, fees, or both, based on the established charges of the school they attend. The amount paid will be the lesser of the applicable percentage of the claimant's established charges, or the applicable percentage of the highest of the amount of tuition and fees for full-time undergraduate training at a state college or university in the state in which the student is attending. Tuition fee payments are limited to the highest in-state undergraduate program at a college or university within the state. The next potential payment is a monthly housing allowance. The housing allowance is available to eligible veterans, transfer of entitlement children, or transfer of entitlement spouses of veterans. The rate of pay is equivalent to the military basic allowance for housing for an E5 with dependents determined by the zip code of the school they are attending. The payment is prorated on the claimant's applicable percentage of the maximum benefit payable. To receive these monthly payments, the student must also be in training above half-time and take at least one class in residence. The benefit is not payable if the classes are solely online. This payment is sent to the student on a monthly basis. The next potential benefit payment is a books and supplies stipend. Individuals can receive up to $1,000 per year prorated based on 24 credit hours per academic year. Eligible veterans, transfer of entitlement children, and transfer of entitlement spouses of veterans may potentially receive this benefit. Payment is made to the student at the beginning of the term. Yellow Ribbon Program Payments. Because some schools have high tuition and fee costs, Yellow Ribbon Program payments may assist with unmet tuition and fees. This program allows the VA to enter into agreement with degree-granting institutions in which the school agrees to fund up to 50% of a veteran's or transfer of entitlement eligible dependents charged tuition and/or fees that exceed his or her maximum benefit payable. The VA will match each dollar funded by the school, which would reduce or eliminate the amount of money a student would have to pay out of pocket. The payment goes directly to the school. To qualify, the veterans or eligible transfer of entitlement dependents must receive benefits at the 100% tuition and fees benefit rate. In addition, the school must participate in the program, and the recipient must be within the school administrator's allowance of yellow ribbon participants. The rural payment is paid to veterans that reside in an area with less than 7 persons per square mile and who meet at least one of the following criteria. Either the individual must physically relocate a distance of at least 500 miles in order to pursue a program of education, or they have to travel by air to physically attend school because inadequate infrastructure does not allow travel by automobile or other established forms of transportation. Those that qualify receive a one-time payment of $500, the Montgomery GI Bill refund payment. This payment is only for veterans that paid into the Montgomery GI Bill before converting to the post-9/11 GI Bill. This refund payment will send funds to the veteran when their post-9/11 GI Bill benefit is exhausted. A proportional amount of the veteran's Montgomery GI Bill contribution will be included in the last monthly housing allowance payment when the post-9/11 benefits exhaust. Elections. If a service member or veteran is eligible for more than one education benefit on or after September 11, 2001, they must relinquish a benefit in order to receive post-9/11 GI Bill payments. If that's the case, the person must choose which benefit to use. If the post-9/11 GI Bill is selected, that decision is irrevocable, which means they cannot switch to the relinquished education program to claim entitlement in the future. However, although the irrevocable election makes it impossible to switch back to another education program, it is possible for the member making the election to receive payment under programs approved for the relinquished benefit. Such training may include flight training, on-the-job or apprenticeship training, non-college degrees, preparatory courses, national tests, and correspondence courses. You are encouraged to submit this new application, regardless if you've previously applied for benefits in the past. Individuals sending in the paper form should mail it to the regional processing office handling their claim. Instructions are included on the form. If applying for this new benefit and the applicant qualifies for another education benefit on or after September 11, 2001, they must make an irrevocable election for the post-9/11 GI Bill. Part 2 of the application has a selection box to choose a benefit. Item 9F allows the applicant to make his or her election to the post-9/11 GI Bill in lieu of the Montgomery GI Bill, the Montgomery GI Bill Selective Reserve, and the Reserve Education Assistance Program by checking the appropriate box. In completing this section, the individual must provide an effective date and indicate which benefit they are giving up to receive the post-9/11 GI Bill. Effective dates must be on or after the program's start date of August 1, 2009. It is very important that all information in 9F is completed. Otherwise, it will delay the processing of the claim. The Transfer of Entitlement Program. This program allows eligible service members to transfer a portion or all of their post-9/11 GI Bill entitlement to their children or spouse. To be eligible for this transfer of benefits, the service member must be eligible for post-9/11 benefits. If separated or retired from the military before August 1, 2009, benefits are not transferable. For the latest information on this and other benefits, go to www.gibill.va.gov. The service member may split the benefit among multiple family members, as long as the combined total does not exceed 36 months of unused entitlement. Children must be 18 years old and have a high school diploma or equivalent in order to use the benefits before the ending date chosen by the service member or the child's 26th birthday, whichever comes first. Children cannot use the benefit until the service member serves 10 years on active duty. Transfer of entitlement-eligible spouses, on the other hand, receive the same benefit payments the sponsor would receive based on their current status as a service member or veteran. The spouse will have the same ending date to use benefits as a sponsor or an earlier date approved by the service branch. The spouse cannot use the benefit until the service member serves 6 years on active duty. Overpayment. When a student reduces credit hours or completely withdraws from school, an overpayment of funds is likely to occur. Post-9/11 GI Bill recipients must be aware tuition and fees payments are paid directly to the school on behalf of the student. But overpayments of tuition and fees will be charged to the student. In the event a student does not complete a course, schools should follow their established student refund policy. In most cases, overpayments will not be collected during the due process period, which is 30 days from the day of notification. As we conclude this overview of the post-9/11 GI Bill, we encourage you to visit the VA website, www.gibill.va.gov. The site offers answers to many of the questions about the bill that are being asked by veterans and service members. It allows users to sign up for email alerts that tell them when new information is added to the site. It provides case studies for comparing benefits available for the post-9/11 GI Bill and other education programs. Also, on the website are links to approved schools, to veteran service organizations, and many other resources.
So, are you going to make the switch to Chapter 33?
I've done my homework on Chapter 33. I hear there's more information on the GI Bill website. Actually, I got my computer here. You want to check it out?
Yeah, sure.
This shows me right here. I'm going to definitely switch over to Chapter 33. It's going to reduce my debt significantly. Oh, and also it's going to give me 15 years of eligibility.
My situation is different. I'm almost finished with my degree, so I'm going to stay on Chapter 30. It puts more cash in my pocket. Besides, when I finish Chapter 30, I can always switch to Chapter 33 if I decide to go to grad school.
Well, I'm Chapter 1607 REAP, and I deployed for 30 months, so I get 90% of my costs covered under 33.
Well, I'm a Chapter 1606, and I was deployed for 12 months, so I only get 60% of my school costs covered under Chapter 33. So if I change to 1607, then I'll get more money in my pocket, so I think I'm going to change to 1607.
I'm a dependent under Chapter 35, so Chapter 33 doesn't even really affect me.
Chapter 30 looks like my best option. I want to be a welder, but if I switch to Chapter 33, do I get OJT benefits as well?
You know, you guys don't have to figure this out yourself. You can go to the GI Bill website at www.gibill.va.gov, and you can click on the post-9/11 GI Bill, and you can actually ask questions and they'll answer them for you.
My dad's